Machine gun, light machine guns. We'd be in one aircraft, two or three of us, and there'd be a plane towing a drogue, which fortunately was way up in front. We couldn't hit it, but we had to fire at a drogue being towed behind the other plane. Yeah, they had a percentage hits, and mine was very low, I can assure you. Oh, strange but good. I remember we were there on Christmas Day, and American people were lining up outside to take us home for Christmas dinner. Amazing, really. We went to a lot of dance halls and things where they used to come pick us up and bring us home afterwards. They're amazing people. Individually, the Americans, as far as we were concerned, we spoke funny and had Australia on our shoulder. Yes, the same thing. They called us out after we went to bed, and we got on the Ile-de-France, the big cruise liner, and went across the Atlantic unescorted, because the reason they gave us that we didn't need an escort was the ship could do, I don't know, 20 knots or something. Yes, but we went this way and that way. Alternate every 18 or 20 minutes we changed course, because it took a submarine 25 minutes to line up. First day out the toilets broke down, of course, which was interesting. And we only got 2 meals, and we had to go down into the basement of the ship and pick it up and bring it back. By the time we got back with 1 meal, it was nearly time to go for the next one. And a lot of American soldiers were on the boat as well. And they weren't as good as sailors as we were, because they were all being seasick. Above us, we had to put our tin hats up to catch the residue, which was interesting. Yeah, well, it was once you got a crew, that was it. You had to get on with it. And what happened was they put us all in a big room, all, pilots, air gunners, wireless operators, and you had to pick out who you thought you'd like to go with, which was a problem. And I happened to know a pilot who was from Sydney, so we joined up and tried to form a crew from there. And we had what we thought was a good crew, but the pilot was a short bloke, and he was too short for 4-engine planes. So we got lumbered with another one who we saw it through, the 7 of us. The trips over Germany and France I was too young to really be scared, but we knew what was going on. And on Anzac Day 45, which is pretty close to the end of the war, we bombed Berchtesgaden, which is where Hitler's holiday home was. And with the SS, whatever that stands for now, they had a barracks there, and that was our target. Whether we hit it or not, nobody knows. But it was a magnificent trip. We flew around the Swiss Alps, and they were covered in snow, and it was really beautiful to look at. And then back home, and that was the last trip we did. That was just before the war ended, and after that the food drops started over Holland, and we did 3 of those, I think. and we were, we were flying at 1,000 feet, and the armistice hadn't been signed, so it was, the first one was a bit nerve-wracking, yeah, to drop the food. We could see the Germans with their anti-aircraft guns, and they had an arrangement which fortunately they stuck to us. They could have blown every one of us out of them. And the best part of all, or the worst part of all, whichever way you look at it, we saw signs on the ground in Holland, "Thank you," which was pretty amazing. Oh, well, once you got back to France, it was, you know, you'd relax a bit. But, oh, I don't know, you were glad to get home, I remember. And we only had half an hour's extra fuel aboard. If, in other words, it would take you so long to go and come, plus half an hour's fuel. And I remember we ran out of fuel on the runway on one trip because of a misunderstanding between the pilot and the navigator. One said he did and the other said he didn't. That was interesting. No, we went to three places, sort of villages, not the big cities, and dropped it there. And some of it, when it landed, the bags broke, and you see the kids running around picking up parcels and taking them home to their parents. It was just a sight to see. Well, first stop was Fremantle, and then Port Adelaide, and then Melbourne, where we got off. And we went and stayed. They took us straight to the Melbourne Cricket Ground from when we got off the boat in Melbourne. And we stayed there for a day, and then they flew us home to the family.
So they flew you from Melbourne down to Hobart?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, for me it has. I used to go to church at 9:30 on Anzac Day, and then you go down and join in the march and back to the club, which was interesting. But the last couple of years the kids have organised a car and we drive in the parade, which is pretty good. Seeing the crowds, the number of people about these days is unbelievable on the march. .29 other blokes went to Sydney and then flew to England. And when we got there, we did a lot of trips in a fortnight, roundabout, and the unveiling of the monument by the Queen happened, and there were people everywhere. And one of the things that I remember was that during that, a Lancaster bomber flew over and dropped, they say, 1 million poppies. Whether there were that many or not, but there were a very lot of them. And I happened to have a granddaughter in London at the time, and she found a policeman with his hat full of poppies and grabbed some for me. That's not one of them, incidentally. But the 1,000 bomber raids, they were disastrous as far as the people on the ground were concerned, because 1,000 bombers drop a lot of bombs over a very large area, and it had to do more than flatten the city. It upset a lot of people's lives, killed them and ended them, of course, obviously.